Okay. Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Robert Castellano, and today's video will be showing you how to link your SQL Server databases to your Microsoft Access databases. Now, for those who don't know, a database is an organized mechanism for storing, managing, and retrieving information. The first thing we need to do now is go to our Start menu and look for SQL Server Management Studio and open that up. Now pay close attention to your server name, as you can see here, because this is used to connect our SQL Server database to your Microsoft Access database. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this server name here and leave everything else as defaulted. Now we connect. Now that we have connected to Microsoft Server Management, SQL Server Management, we go to databases and we create a new database. Now you can name this database whatever you want, so I'll just be naming mine Costa, and you press OK. Okay, now we expand databases and you can see that my Costa database has been created. So now we expand this and we go to tables and we create a new table. Now we just need to populate this table by giving it a few fields, so I'll just give it first name, data type of varchar, last name, also data type varchar, and phone number. Data type numeric. When this is done, we need to come over here and save our table. And here we just give our table a name, and I'll be naming mine footballers. Okay. Now we can close this off and we go back to tables. When we expand tables, here you can see my footballers table has been created, and now we need to edit top 200 rows, and here you can clearly see that my fields have been created. Now we need to close off SQL Server Management Studio, and next we go to Microsoft Access, and we need to open Microsoft Access, but we need to run it as an administrator. So to do this, you hold Shift and you right click and run as administrator. Yes. Now that our database, our access is opened, we need to create blank database, and I'll be naming mine Castellano, and we create this blank database. Now for those of you who don't know, just to give a little more insight, we've been using the terminology SQL, and what SQL stands for, actually it's Structured Query Language, and it's a computer language designed to organize and simplify the process of getting information out of a database, and also it's used to reorganize data within the databases. So now we go to external data and more, and ODBC database, and we click on this. And now you can see a window pops up which gives you two options: import the source data into a new table in the current database, or link to the data source by creating a link table. If we import what this actually does is you copy the data into your Access database, and any changes made to the data in Access are not reflected in the SQL database. Whereas if we link to the data source, Access maintains a connection to that data, and any changes you make to that data in Access are reflected in the SQL Server data, and vice versa. So we are going to link to the data source by creating a link table. Press OK, and now we go to machine data source and press new. We will be creating new user data source, and we press next. And we need to scroll here until we see SQL Server. Press next. finished. And here we'll just be naming that data source, and I'll be naming mine Robert, and the description I'll give it is footballers link, right? And here we need to select our server that we want to connect to. And here is where I paste my server name. Press next, next, and here we need to change the default database to the database that we created in SQL Server, and we press next and finish. We need to test our data source, and here we can see that test completed successfully, and we press OK and OK again. Robot footballers link, OK. We scroll now. Now we need to select our table, footballers, and we press OK. And this is very important. We need to select all of these fields if we need to make changes to them or any sort of interaction with these fields in our SQL tables, and we press OK. And here we can see that that table was created over here, and we click on this, and here we'll just be giving some information to these fields in this table. So I'll give Jim, John, phone number 49478, and Roger Miller, and a phone number 24. Right now we just come and save, and now we close off our Microsoft Access and we go back to SQL Server Management Studio. And once again we connect, and we go to our databases, Costat, tables, footballers, and here we need to edit top 200 rows, and we can see that the changes that we made in Access has also been done in our Microsoft SQL Server. And just to give a little more insight before we are finished, why do persons actually do this? Just to give one example, when persons or work groups, they usually do this with the purpose of running queries or printing reports using the data between SQL Server databases and Access databases. Thank you for watching my video.